Good evening, YouTube family. Welcome to Debra's Quiet Corner. This has been a very exciting day in our nation, and everyone's watching around the world as the power of the White House switches over. And it's such an exciting time that we get to experience this transfer of power. And we know that everyone is not happy with the transfer that has just taken place. Nevertheless, it was fought not to happen the way that it happened. And we know it was a battle trying to defend the rights of voters that went to the polls and stood in lines with this COVID-19 to cast their votes, and then for them to say that it was fraudulently done to keep the process that we all know in the land of the free was kind of devastating. But nevertheless, the right thing prevailed and there was no proof found. So now we have two new leaders going into the White House, and we have to just be mindful that those two leaders are also flesh, which means they are human beings like the rest of us. And it's our duty as citizens of this United States of America to keep them in prayer, to lift them up in prayer that they would make the right decisions to try to get this nation back on track, to work towards the economy, all of the loss during this pandemic, and they can acknowledge the deaths that were taken during this time, but we cannot bring back any of those persons that lost their life during this pandemic with regards to dying from the actual COVID-19. So while this is an exciting time for our nation and the world is watching to see how the transition went, we also have to like I said, be mindful that we are dealing with people that are human beings. The new president and the new vice president and the first lady, they are all human beings, and they're not going to get it all right, but it's our duty, our civic duty, to lift them up in prayer. And even though I didn't agree with a lot of Donald Trump's tactics and the rhetoric that he kept going all the time, I still constantly prayed for him, because the Bible teaches us that we're to pray for our leaders. And it didn't tell us just to pray for those that we like, or those that are kind, and those that are nice, and those that, kind of satisfy what we want to see as a leader. We are instructed to pray for those that are in authority. And even though, you don't have to agree with everything that Donald Trump did while he was in office, it is still the responsibility for us to pray for our leaders. So now we have two new leaders going into the White House. It's going to be a long journey. It's not going to be an overnight resolve. And those that are looking for that are going to be very disappointed, because we are in so much trouble right now in this nation that it's going to take us a while to get back on track. So it is a day of rejoicing. It is a day to remember. It is a day to be happy and reflection. But it is also a day to remember to pray for our leaders that are going into office, that will be running this nation, and trying to figure out the direction to get this COVID-19 under some kind of control, so that we can stop losing lives. So I just came on to just remind everybody, remember that even though your new leaders are going into office and there is a change of command, we are still dealing with people that are human beings that are going to be taking that office over. And they're going to make their mistakes just like we make our mistakes every day. They're not going to get it all right. They're going to make some calls that may not satisfy everyone. But let's try to pray for them. And like I said, even though I didn't agree with Donald Trump, and I really didn't like the way that he handled this nation and the things that he did, I still was in biblical direction to pray for him and his wife and his administration. So let's just keep that in mind as we move forward in 2021. And let's just stay prayerful and hope that all of the rhetoric that was going on up in DC before the transition of power, that we don't see any more of that, and that Donald Trump can walk away. I don't like the way he walked away. That was cowardly, not to even want to acknowledge that we have a new president, but that's just him. So we have to accept that he is who he is, and he's not going to change from that. So let's just stay prayerful, and let's just hope that this nation gets back on its feet, and everybody just try to do their part of what they can do to make this nation a better place. All right, thank you for coming in. Everybody have a good night. This is an exciting day. It's also a day of hope, and it's a day of restoration. So let's look for those things in 2021. Please visit me on Facebook, Debra's Quiet Corner. You can also visit me on Instagram, Debra Payton 330, and you can also visit me here on YouTube, Debra's Quiet Corner. Love you with the love of Christ. Peace out. Let's stay prayerful for our new leaders that are going into a chaotic situation. Peace.